What do you do when the ground shifts beneath your feet? Market crash, technology disrupts, or policies change overnight, and yet you have to make decisions. So if you are a leader, an entrepreneur, an investor facing volatility, sit tight and I'll give you the tools to act with confidence when certainty is impossible. My name is Tony Okafor, and today I'm discussing a topic titled Leading in Uncertainty. In moments of uncertainty, leaders don't get the luxury of perfect information. The world is shifting fast, data is rarely complete, and yet decisions have to be made. So the question is, how do the best leaders make smart decisions when the ground beneath them is constantly moving? In stable times, leadership is important, but in volatile times, leadership is everything. Mistakes multiply, market crash, technology disrupts entire industries, and one wrong move, the impact could be devastating. So let's talk about a few powerful decision-making frameworks that leaders can use when facing uncertainty. The first one is scenario planning. So instead of betting everything on one forecast, leaders facing uncertainty could create multiple plausible futures: an optimistic case, a base case, and a worst case. So an energy company might plan for oil prices at $40, $80, or $180. This allows them to stress test their strategies so that no matter which decision unfolds, they are ready. Another framework is the real option thinking. So imagine your strategic decisions like a financial option where you don't have to commit all your capital upfront. You make small stage investments that give you the option, that gives you the right, but not the obligation to expand later. An example would be a company experimenting the deployment of AI tools within its enterprise, but first starts with one division before scaling across the entire enterprise. I mean, we've seen Disney when it was about to launch the Disney Plus. So it didn't abandon the traditional licensing and viewing the cinema, but it treated the Disney Plus like a strategic real option. So it is all about flexibility and buying time. Flexibility is an asset. The third strategy or framework that leaders can use is the OODA loop. The OODA loop was developed by the military. It stands for observe, orient, decide, and act. The military used this when facing uncertain situations, when the environment is fast moving, that they need to gather information, synthesize the information, and constantly act when facing uncertainty. Businesses, especially startups, use this to update their model every month or sometimes quarterly, but it takes established organizations a long time to adjust to fast-moving environment. The fourth strategy is the Bayesian updating. So the Bayesian updating is about adjusting your beliefs and strategies as new data arrives. It's not about being right from the start. No, it is about being less wrong over time. Central banks across the world use this when they adjust their inflation forecast. Investors use this as well when they shift from one portfolio to another when earning results are released. The fifth framework is the pre-mortem analysis. So the pre-mortem analysis helps or could help leaders to imagine failure ahead of time. So NASA runs what if it failed analysis or exercises before every major launch. What this does is that it surfaces blind spots and enables leaders to confront uncomfortable possibilities before the deployment is made. Microsoft runs chaos engineering exercise in which they break into their systems and expose any vulnerability before they deploy um, into the market. The last strategy is the sign-and-fin framework. The sign-and-fin framework is developed for sense making during chaotic situation. So this strategy will help leaders to break down the situation into different domains: simple, complex, complicated, chaotic, or disorder. What it does is that it helps leaders to choose appropriate responses, such as probing and adapting in uncertain or chaotic times. So, what should you do as a leader, an entrepreneur facing volatility, facing uncertainty? Here are a few takeaways. Build flexibility in your plans. Make smaller, reversible bets where possible. Establish fast feedback loops and accept the fact that perfect information will never arrive. Waiting too long to act is often riskier than acting. In terms of uncertainty, the difference between the average leader and the leaders that make smart and great decisions isn't that the great leaders can see tomorrow or they can see the future. They can't. The difference is that the great leaders act within frameworks, discipline, flexibility, and adaptability. So, thank you for listening. If you've listened to this length, keep sharing with your friends who probably are leading with uncertainty. Until I come your way again, stay blessed and thank you.